Hey there, Variety here. Welcome to today's video in which we're going to be doing a raid guide for the Ancient Tree Challenge mode for Tarisland. Today's video will show you all the abilities and give you all the information you need to quickly and efficiently pass this raid. So I'm assuming that you have already completed the Elite mode or you've watched the video and understand how you walk on and off the flowers. Each party does it a little bit differently. Now that people have a higher gear score, they're standing in front of the flower for longer and taking 10 plus stacks, so they're not changing as much, so there isn't as many errors. So like the Elite, you need to walk in front of the beam and then you need to walk away. However, the difference is that when you leave the beam now, you get a debuff. What this debuff does is that if you walk in front of the flower again and then walk off, you die. So what you need to do is that when you get off the laser, so off your turn, you need to find a hornet, go and stand on it, and it'll get rid of the debuff. But what it does is it gives you a dot. Once that dot ends a couple seconds after, you're going to drop another swarm on the map. So rangers need to make sure that it's on the outside of the map, away from people, especially away from the beams. Please do not put the hornets anywhere near the beams for any reason, ever. The melee, same thing. When you're tanking it, you're going to put the hornets probably around the boss because, it's a lot of DPS to run away. But you absolutely do not put it behind the tank because the tank needs to run backwards, and do not put it next to the beam because that will wipe your party. As you can imagine, as people are leaving the beams and picking up the hornets and duplicating them, the map gets more and more full of hornets. So you need to try to push to 60% quickly to turn it into phase 2. Okay, so let's go into the fight and actually have a look at how it looks. Okay, so we're going to start the fight. Everyone's going to go jump in front of the flowers if they've been assigned to them. They're going to stay in front of the flowers until about 10 plus, depending on your gear. Once you leave the beam, you're going to grab one of those little brown swarms you see on the map. And then you're going to get the dot and you're going to drop the swarm on the outside so other people don't run into it. Soon it's going to be the tank swap. There's the tank swap. After the tank swap, take a couple steps away because he always does a mini AoE around him after you need to do the tank swap. The boss is going to use Wild Growth. It's going to get bigger and bigger. So basically after the first cast, you want your long range to run in to dodge it. Do a bit of extra damage. Make sure to stay on the flowers when you're doing this. And once it's over, run back out. Next up, he's probably going to tank swap, and then he's going to summon a mushroom. So the mushrooms are going to start moving towards the boss. The melee DPS are going to get off the boss and go and kill it. It's very important that the mushroom dies and does not reach the boss because it heals it. Next up is going to be Blade Barrage. I actually stand exactly where I am right now so it doesn't hit the flowers. Because you don't want it hitting people who are on the beam. They will panic and they will mess up the mechanic, kill themselves. Here we go. It's going to be another tank. Another vine. As I said earlier, he always does it after he does the tank. It's a good time to get some HP back too because this mechanic doesn't really do anything to the tank. And as you can see, he's getting closer to 60% right now, so he's going to push to phase 2. Before we go into phase 2, I need to explain a couple of mechanics because it's very quick and very messy from here. So the first thing that's going to happen is he's going to use pollinate on somebody. Basically, a person's going to get like a pink particle effect on them, and it's a cough. If you stand near the raid, you'll give it to other people, and GG. So if you have that effect, run out of the party no matter what you have to do. Stay away from everybody else. The boss is going to summon an ad. You need to taunt it and prepare to run to the next area when he uses his next ability very quickly. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to summon an ad. And then a few seconds later, he's going to make a greeny area where you need to run out of, right? He's going to leave a good area. So you need to pull the ad over there really, really fast because it does a lot of damage. You're going to fight the ad in the good area for, I think it's 8 to 12 seconds. And then he's going to pick a direction to make good, and then he's going to make your area bad. So it's going to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. For the rest of the phase, he's going to keep doing the circle in that way. So make sure you note which way that you're actually going. While you're running around and luring the mobs that keep spawning, you need to avoid the hornets, because if a hornet hits you and somebody drops it, the hornet will stack on, the other people that are running around, and they'll get the hornet, and the hornets will keep duplicating and they'll kill everyone. So what you need to do is, as the tank, you need to grab the ad, pull it around in a clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction. You need to make sure that the hornets doesn't get anyone. If the hornets do get somebody, they need to run to the outside of the arena and drop it there. Probably the thing that wipes most people here is that you absolutely must avoid the hornets like your life depends on it, because it actually does. If you get hit by the hornets and put it in the middle, you will wipe. Focus more on dodging the hornets than doing the mechanics until you've got a better grasp of it. Otherwise, you're going to continue wiping again and again. So I'm going to move the description so you can clearly see the screen and see what's going on. So we're going to attack the ad and then pull it to the good area, right? See those hornets? You need to avoid them like your life depends on it. A couple of people could hit here, but we're doing our best to dodge them. The pink person stays away. Right now, we're waiting for the next area to come up. Once we see it, we're going to know which direction to go in. He's summoning another guardian. Okay, now we know that he's going to go in that direction. Okay, so we keep pulling him over. This is going to be messy because even we're not very good at this. So we're trying to burn down one of the guardians, dodging more of the hornets. As you can see, the Lanny at the back is trying to keep the pink away from us. And then we keep cycling it around in a circle. As we move, sections, you have to taunt between the tanks, depending if you have the pink or the hornets on you, like I'm trying to do right now. And we're going to try to kill the ad. Our DPS isn't amazing, so I believe we fall behind a little bit here, and I have to run to the boss. Because what's going to happen is, if the boss doesn't have a tank on him, when he comes back up, he's going to throw a boulder at somebody and kill them immediately. So I'm going to call the other tank to pull the ad, and I'm going to run over to the boss a little bit early, it's true, but I just want to be sure that, I grab the taunt. So now I'm going to pull the boss onto me. Everybody's going to run back to their flowers. You can see that the ad is on the other tank. You want to leave it on the person that's not yet tanking the boss, and you want to kill it ideally before he has to do the tank swap. So here we're going to do the tank swap, and then we're going to cycle through the exact same mechanics we did before, right? He's going to use the tank swap. He's going to use the vine AoE. You keep having to cycle through, the flowers and picking up the hornets. As you can see around the outside of the edge, there is actually a lot of hornets up right now. So it's actually a little dicey. And imagine if those hornets were done incorrectly and a lot of them were in the middle of the map. That's kind of how a lot of people wipe. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep pushing him a little bit further. I believe it's 30%, but don't quote me on that. He's going to push back into the second phase again, and you're going to have to do the second phase all over again. Yeah, it's actually quite difficult. So we're nearing 30%. He's done all his same abilities like I showed you before. Pretty easy once you know what's already coming. Be careful of the auto attack and the tank hit, because combined they can do a lot of damage if you don't get up. Okay, so we pushed him at 30%. The ads are going to come out, and let's try to do this again. So I'm looking for the ad right now. I'm trying to find where I think it's going to be so I can taunt it quickly. There we go. I found it. It's right on top of me. I want to hit it early so I can pull it out of the green stuff, because this is a bit of a timer here. So I'm going to pull it across and try to dodge the hornets. The pink runs away as they're doing right now. This is sloppy. I admit this is sloppy. This wasn't very good. We were very exhausted by the time we got to this point. Okay, so we're trying to kill one, and then we're running it outside of the green stuff again. You can see that I had hornets on me, and I dropped them probably somewhere I shouldn't have, but I did my best there. I'm trying to pull the ad on me without using my taunt, because I'm holding my taunt for the next ad that's going to come out. Okay, we're pulling it across. As you can see, you have to run it pretty quickly to get around. Like, you have to be quick. Otherwise, anybody standing in that green stuff is really going to pay for it. People are dodging the hornets. As you can see, people are doing a really good job dodging the hornets here. But it took us many attempts to get to the point where people could dodge the hornets, because people were initially doing DPS as you would expect at first. Now, I'm running to the boss a little bit early here, but I was, kind of panicked, and I just wanted to make sure that the boss didn't throw a boulder at somebody like he did last round, because that was very painful to watch a DPS die because I didn't tank the boss. Okay, so we're going to restart the mechanics from phase 1 all over again. Here we have the ad killing the other tank, which was very bad. So what I'm going to do here is I believe I'm going to tank the boss. I'm going to take it before. No, I take a little bit after the taunt. Okay, so he's going to turn around now. You can see he's on 13%. Everybody's getting a little bit edgy because this was actually our first kill. Okay, he's down to 10%. He's going to use the same rotation again. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing really to worry about. As long as nobody messes up the flowers, we should be good. If you mess up the flowers, he gets a damage buff so fast that the tanks just get obliterated. Okay, he does the tank swap, but it doesn't matter. We have now killed him. Congratulations on beating the Elite Tree Challenge Mode. I'll see you next time.